Here I am, working on a Chevrolet on the Mopar Garage. Decided I'm gonna go with removing this blower motor altogether. I'm not gonna run AC or heat in this thing. I really wanna clean this firewall up. You know, race car stuff. This is 2001 S-10 that we're LS swapping, put a 4L80 transmission in. So cleaning this engine bay up. I need to address this, and then I've really got to start looking at brakes and see what I'm going to do there. I think I'm going to possibly go manual brakes on this thing to get that brake booster out of the way and continue to clean that firewall up. So let's dig in. If you guys could do me a massive favor and like and comment on this video. YouTube is really punishing me for working on a Chevrolet after all these years of working on only Mopars. The impressions are terrible. These videos are not getting out to anybody. People are watching these videos for a much longer time period than most of my other videos. But, so the people who are watching are interested, but not getting to a lot of people because YouTube's punishing me. So please interact with the video because that helps. You may be saying, I don't know what to comment. Well, comment how much longer you think this process is going to take until this thing's on the road. Is it 6 months? Is it a year? I'll tell you what's holding me up right now. What's going to hold up a bit of progress is my cheap self has to come to terms with the fact that I'm about to spend like $3,000 on a good 4L80. So there's that. Looking at a company, a couple different companies that have them pre-built. I've been looking at ones like from a junkyard, but then you got to build it. And then do you really trust any of the local transmission builders? For me, not really. So then you're kind of in the same spot that you're already in, spending that kind of money, so might as well just buy one. A company called Monster Transmission that has a lot of them. Let me know if you guys know Monster Transmission or if they're any good. I see good things about them. Initial kind of inclination is to go with Suncoast transmissions because they've built a lot of really good Dodge transmissions that I know of. So, I don't know. But they're also really expensive. The other big expense is, God, these bolts are terrible to work with. The other big expense is gonna be Terminator X system from Holly to run this whole deal, which we'll talk about wiring in a second. Kind of going back and forth on what I'm going to do wiring wise for the chassis of the truck. So looking at the Terminator X, there's also a company called Ace's Fuel Injection, which has kits that are way cheaper than the Terminator. Almost too cheap to where I'm a little suspicious. Let me know if you guys have dealt with Ace's before. I don't know. A buddy of mine has good luck with them. A real good friend of mine who lives in North Carolina, who's built a number of LS powered vehicles. So he says he's had good luck with both Holly and Aces. These bolts are terrible. If you guys don't like the S-10, never fear. There are more projects coming. I really want the next one to be a first-gen Dodge pickup. Let me know what you think. So there was a bolt in here that I was thankfully able to get to with a socket or a extension with a swivel. Now working on this little guy who's incredibly hard to access. This bolt was pretty easy. It feels like there's one more fastener holding this thing, so I'm hoping by taking this blower motor out, I can hopefully get to it, or take a chisel or a pry bar and at least break it if I can't get to it. So I've got to say, this truck is mostly well engineered. outside of things like this. Now this stud is in the way. Not sure how you're supposed to take that out without doing that. Still no bolt access. Gonna have to get physical with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would have cut them back.
We got some
lower.
gardening going on over here, so you guys are gonna learn about flowers as well. Maybe I should have a different hobby. Maybe I should garden instead of doing all this. Explain to me how you were supposed to get to these bolts. Like, I mean, engineers, man, engineers. All right, got my plate ready to go on here. I'm gonna have to beat this ridge in, I think. I don't think that plate's gonna sit nice on there with that ridge like that. So I'm gonna beat that more flat and then see how well this plate fits. Didn't come with any hardware, so I'm just gonna have to reuse what I had, add some washers into it and stuff. We'll see. Put a layer of paint down real quick before we put the plate on, because this whole engine bay is going to be painted black. It's going to look good. That's going to look sweet, have everything black. But I at least wanted to just put down a quick coat of paint on that section. This thing's going over it. There was a lot of scratches in the paint. Don't want moisture getting in there, what have you. So I did end up painting behind it. So now we'll throw this plate on. Looks like the fitment's pretty good. And stand back, take a look at it. Waiting for my paint to dry here. I'm looking at brakes. Looks like all of these lines, so you get this huge spider of lines into this ABS module here, but it looks like if we're gonna go to manual brakes, it's actually gonna be fairly easy because there's fittings on these brakes. That's the line that goes to the back. There's a fitting here too for the one that goes to the driver's side tire. And then there's a fitting here. This one goes to the passenger side. All right, we're calling this paint good enough. Not quite all the way dry, but a little tacky still, but whatever. What are you gonna do? Well, that looks sweet. Passenger side looks awesome. Looks like race car stuff. I'm glad we did that. I mean, here in South Carolina, you really don't need a blower motor. You really don't need heat most days. AC would have been nice, but yeah, there would have been too much going on under the hood. I want this thing to look race car stuff. Got to do brakes now. I'm probably going to order that manual brake kit from Motion Raceworks and catch up with you guys once that comes in. All right, I'm back with my TBM brakes, or Motion Raceworks, I don't know, I think they're the same company. Manual master cylinder kit. So we're gonna go put this thing on, and the best part about installing this is laying on the floor underneath the dashboard of a pickup truck. That's my favorite part about working on cars, is laying on the floor, crunched in between the driver's seat and the pedals, removing brake booster bolts. That's gonna be awesome. Let's do it. This is a really nice kit. Obviously you got your master cylinder, and then made in the USA, like that. I'm guessing this plate, I'm thinking we're probably gonna have to change our pedal ratio, so we're probably gonna have to drill out the pedal somehow, I don't know. Looks like it comes with a couple different size for the shaft coming out of the Hemi joint. But really nice complete kit. So I'm guessing this thing will probably mount higher up than, there's no instructions with it, but we're just gonna figure it out. And I believe since we had to change the mounting points, we're gonna need a hole saw. So I got a hole saw, didn't have a good 1 3/4 hole saw. It's what I measured that hole to be. So I bought one of these. And then I said, you know what? I have spent my entire life with those cheesy black junk, probably made for wood, drill bits that last 13 seconds. So I went out and I spent 80 something bucks. I think it was actually more like 90. And I got the titanium Milwaukee Red Helix. This is 29 piece, of course. These are titanium, and they've got something called quad metal or 5X life something. I don't know. I got really nice drill bits because I'm going to be drilling through the brake pedal, and I think the brake pedal is really hard metal. So I said, you know what? I'm done with junk. I'm doing these. You guys know I'm always an advocate of use whatever cheap tools that get the job done. But the truth is, these junk black bits do not get the job done. We all have this set of bits in our garage, and they're all junk. So this is gonna go right where they belong, right there. And we finally got good drill bits. All right, let's dig in. The cool thing about this is I think we're gonna have enough excess juice pipes between all these 5 million brake lines that I don't think we're gonna have to buy any brake lines. And my flaring tool is missing. So I would have had to buy a flaring tool as well. So I'm hoping that I can reuse all these brake lines that we've got to make all of our connections. We've even got these nice flex tube deals. And those might be the right length. I might be able to use them. So we're gonna start tearing this apart. Obviously this ABS/proportioning module is gonna come out. Master cylinder is gonna come out, and then brake booster should bolt through the firewall. Probably have to take the bottom of the dashboard apart, I'm guessing, which I'm excited about. So I think this is just 4 bolts, so we'll pull this guy first. Working with the door closed today because the pollen is absolutely outrageous right now. But I think the lighting's pretty good in here for the camera, for you guys. Not as good for me, but these are the sacrifices I make. Never see that again. Okay. Get some plugs. All right, this guy's all loose. Both plugs are discoed. Got the plug disconnected from the master cylinder itself. And now we got these 2 nuts. One. Two. Those are barely on there at all. Only took 700 foot-pounds for a minute to get them off. All right, master cylinder is discoed. This guy's discoed. Now it's time for the part that I've been so looking forward to. Let's get under the dashboard. Dang it. Maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. It does have to come apart. Dang it. Here. So this dashboard's got to come apart. I think just the bottom part. I think just this panel and this panel can get to the top of the brake that way. I think. We'll see. But what I'm looking at up here, it doesn't make a lot of sense, is shouldn't this be a master cylinder nut or a brake booster nut? And this, see those holes? I don't know what's happening. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's behind some kind of this insulation piece. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I can't see it because it's behind this insulation. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. That was weird. All right, I'm just gonna have to cut that insulation out. All right, let me start disassembling the dash. I love laying on the ground of a pickup truck, disassembling the dashboard. Here we go. Oh. All right, so 33,000 7mm screws later, we've got the bottom of this dashboard apart. And we can start seeing how easily we can dig into this. I think I can cut out this insulation pretty easy with a Rase or Blade. And then get to the nuts. Now, the actual bolt that holds on the brake pedal, I've got to come from this side. That bolt is all the way up there, and you have to put a socket through from this side. So it's gonna have to have an extension on it. I really hope we can get that without pulling any more of this dash apart. We'll just have to see. Yeah, we'll see. Not gonna be able to film too much in here, but I'll give you updates once I get through it. All right, I got updates. Things are awesome in here. I love working on dashboards and interior of vehicles. We're getting closer. So, had to take another dash panel off. That one there, that's the center one. I don't know if you can even see. That gave us a little bit more access, and then we had to, there's insulation up in here. See this? Had to take a screwdriver and a Rase or Blade and cut all that. And then I had to go across with a screwdriver, because there's insulation on the other side of this column, and blow holes through that. And I can finally put my finger on the bolt that holds the brake pedal in, which is right up there. Luckily, it's a bolt. I don't think there's a nut. So if I can just get I looked it up, it's a 19mm. If I can just get a 19mm tray through here and across, I should be able to get this brake pedal out of the way, which will get me even better access to these brake booster bolts, because I got this insulation out of there as well. So now I have access to the bolts. I'll let you know when my back snaps in half and I am through here. Finally got it. Can't wait to drop this bolt into the firewall into oblivion. That's gonna be awesome. All right, I'm gonna stop filming before I do that. I need both hands for control here. You know what I remember just in time, right before I got that bolt all the way out? I can't pull this brake pedal out just yet, because I'm gonna have to measure where I need to drill my hole for the new orientation
of the shaft that goes into the master cylinder because it's going to be up higher on the brake pedal than the current one is. So thank goodness I just caught that just in time, because I bet getting that bolt in is going to be even harder than getting it out. So I'm going to leave that ratchet attached to it, and I'm going to work on getting these bolts out for the booster. This is a lot of fun here. I like this a lot. I got the two left side ones out. I got this one. I can get to this wrench. That one up there that you literally can't even see, that one up there, I have no idea yet how I'm gonna get to that. Maybe drop the steering column, I don't know. So I'm just gonna manually wrench this one out for 13 hours. This has been by far the least fun part of this build. Been under here for at least an hour. I've got all kinds of different swivel designs I've come up with, and extensions, and to get the other two. This one I can only get with a wrench. Yep. That other one, top right, man, I don't know. We're gonna have to see what we can come up with. Well, no tool in my current arsenal is going to take care of that top right bolt down there. So went out and I bought a pass-through wrench because A, I want one anyway, and B, I think I can make this work. Which, by the way, 29 bucks at Harbor Freight. Why do people spend money on expensive ratchets? Ratchets in particular, right? Some things, you know, drill bits like we talked about earlier, that's different. But ratchets? I mean, this thing is ratchets nice and tight. I've been using cheap ratchets my whole life. Never broken one. Well, I mean, I have, but extreme use. I just don't get it. Anyway, this would be like 150 bucks for Snap-on. So I have a plan. I think if I just put a 15 on this thing, I don't think I'm going to have the length to get to the bolt, because I'm going to have to put this thing in like dead straight this direction. So I think if I put, what is this, 3/4 on there, clip that in, and then clip the 15 into the 3/4, you could see, you know, that stud can come through, and then it should be able to, that should give me the length to kind of keep this thing straight. And we're just going to try to come in above the steering shaft like this. We'll see if that works. Well, by golly, it worked. I think I'm going to have like 1 millimeter tray of swing available under here, but it's on the nut, and I think we can get it off that way. I can't wait to put nuts back on this thing. That's going to be awesome. That was one of, if not the most uncomfortable jobs in my mechanic career. Oh, the way I had to be contorted under there so I could get 2 clicks of movement on this. That's it. 1, 2, back. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's how much throw I had to move that. So in other words, it took 20 minutes, and my hand and arm are so cramped. Brake boosters on Chevrolet S-10s are the most uncomfortable job that a mechanic can do. My shoulder is cramped, my arm is cramped, my hand is cramped, my back is cramped. Oh, that was terrible. Okay, let's pull this thing off. Can't wait to put it back together. I hate you! Oh, jeez. Brutal. Okay. So,
This kit didn't come with instructions, but it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm imagining the brake master cylinder used to sit down here is probably going to be up because the pedal ratio on manual brakes has to be way stronger or way more aggressive. So let's get this little gasket off of here. Maybe clean this up. And then we'll start working on mounting our plate. It's gonna involve drilling. I can tell this hole is higher. So that's why I got that hole saw, because I figured this would be the case. So if we line these holes up, okay. So I'm gonna drill a pilot hole with one of my sexy new drill bits. Something like that. Wow, these bits work great. Then we got our 1 3/4 hole saw, which is a little bigger than what we need, but I'm gonna roll with it. Line it up on the pilot hole, and then you know what? We're actually gonna go, I'm gonna go low speed on this so that we get a nice clean cut. All right, so now we got our firewall modified to where this baby fits just the way it should. So I'm actually pretty excited here. These holes are threaded. So I'm not gonna need anyone to stand out here. A lot of times I have to get my poor wife to come out here and help me hold these bolts on the other end, but since they're threaded, I'm not gonna have to get anyone to help me because they thread down in and seat. Top and bottom holes are threaded. That is awesome. Nice. This kit comes with this really nice dust boot too. Fits beautiful. This is a really nice kit. I'm gonna set these other bolts through and then probably put it up against firewall and run maybe a bungee cord to hold everything tight against the firewall so that it doesn't flop forward like this, and then get inside and get the nuts started. With these being threaded, I didn't even need a helper. This is really cool. All right, I've got this thing very precariously bungeed up. What a nice piece this is though. Man, I'm impressed. So she's precariously bungeed up. I'm going to start the nuts on the other side and should be good. Maybe I'll take a wrench and make sure these are tight because they're just finger tight right now. Although I guess it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be tightening them anyway. Good deal. Yeah, she's just hanging on, but we'll get it. Yes, she's mounted. That looks so good. About to pull this stuff off. Haven't yet. I don't want to spill brake juice everywhere right this second, but that looks so good. What a nice piece. Fit and finish is fantastic. Man, these 4 bolts, they were a little easier going back in because they were shorter. And the shaft for the original booster isn't in the way. So not as bad going back in, but those are 4 of the hardest bolts I've ever turned in my mechanicing career, man. Now we have to set up our Hemi. So this is what the inside looks like here. Hold on, let me get some light. So we're all tight. We got this nice boot. Now that's a lot higher than the original
setup was. So let's unhook this brake pedal. Now we got two different size shafts that came with the Hemi. We've got a longer one and we've got a shorter one. I'm gonna guess this one's here is probably way too short, but let's take a peek here. So we're gonna stick this into the master cylinder and kind of see where this baby ends up, and we can adjust this Hemi. We want this to be as close to straight as possible, but we can adjust this Hemi in and out a bit to adjust our pedal height. And it's not gonna take, because it's so high up on the pedal and it's such a high ratio, it's not gonna take a lot of adjustment here to really change that pedal height. So we're gonna get under here and just kind of see where we like it, and then trace around the Hemi on the pedal, find center, and drill a, I think 3/8 hole ish. I don't know. This thing came with no instructions, by the way, so we're just kind of figuring it out, but I think we've almost got it. And then once we trace out where that Hemi's gonna go on the pedal, we're going to finish pulling the pedal bolt out, pull the pedal, drill it, and then hopefully get that pedal bolt back in. That one's a little scary, but we'll see. All right, so we're looking here. This pedal used to sit just beyond this little guy right here. It's incredibly hard for me to show you things. This guy right here, the pedal used to sit right about there. I kind of noticed that when the old booster was hooked up. It's about where it's at, so that's probably about where we want it. And this Hemi, we want it to be nice and straight up there, right? So it's in this master cylinder now. And that's gonna be right up near the top there. Right, almost right up against this. Interesting. Okay. So we probably want to adjust that Hemi out a hair, because right now when the Hemi is in the middle, we're a little bit past this little marker that we have here. So we're gonna make a couple adjustments, trace around it, and then pull the pedal. I made one turn on the Hemi, adjusted it to there. We're a little further out than where it was, but I think that'll work pretty good. I think I like it there. We'll trace around it. Let me tell you something. Getting this brake pedal bolt out was absolutely brutal. That was like 30 minutes. My fingertips are so torn up. Dang. So I'll put a little clip up on the screen, but this bolt backed out against a little brace in behind the dash. And so I had to take this brake pedal and just move it in ever so slight directions to get this bolt to slide the rest of the way out. It was just awful. I hope I didn't bend the brake pedal or anything. I guess it doesn't really matter, but oh, that sucked. I didn't even want to think about getting it back in, but for now, that's a problem for another minute here. I'm gonna go around my crappy tracing of this Hemi joint, mark the center, and then drill this out. So I'm just gonna put a dot in the center there, and then start using my awesome new drill bits and get a hole going so that the new brake linkage can go on. All right, we got our middle marked right here. So we're gonna start with a pilot hole and then work our way up to, I think 3/8 is the size of the bolt that's gotta go in it. And then I'm really hoping this thing goes back in. You can see I did a little bit of damage to the bushing in there, getting it out. But man, was that brutal. But we're gonna drill this out and try not to think about what it's gonna be like to put it back in. All right, we got her all drilled out to 3/8 for this bolt. That's gonna work slick. Got this greased up, ready to go back in. Like I said, we did a little bit of damage to the interior of this bushing here, but I think it'll be all right. This thing was just a bear to get out, and I am dreading this bolt going back in. Fingers crossed that I'll be giving you an update in a second that it wasn't as bad as I thought. All right, thank goodness. That was not near as bad going in as it was coming out. Still a little challenging, but nothing crazy. So now we've got our new Hemi and rod here with the put the rubber deal on here, which is once that goes into the master cylinder, that locks her in pretty much for good. So we're gonna set this thing up. Should be set to the right length. We still have a little bit of adjustment if we need it, but let's see. Hook her up, see what we got. All right, we got our pedal height exactly where we want it. So we went ahead and tightened the Hemi up there. And we're ready to bench bleed this thing. Well, truck bleed it, but bench bleed it. Feels just about perfect, man. Good deal. What a job this has been. All right, let's bleed this master cylinder. All right, I got this extremely cheap master cylinder bleeder kit. Put some brake fluid in her. Thing's probably about to leak. So we got some fluid in it, and we're just gonna slowly work the pedal. I don't bench bleed these. I usually do it the vice grip garage way, which is right in the truck, bleed it back into itself. You'll see bubbles there. I'm actually gonna record it so that I can see the bubbles myself. All right, bench bleed successful. She's all set. Did not feel like running brake lines today. This is the worst day I've had wrenching in a very long time. And so I figured I'm done, man. I've been out here for about 9 hours. So I just ran the bleeders into this water bottle and capped off the master cylinder and should be all set just to sit like that because the water bottle is above the outlet on for the brake lines. So it should just sit there and be okay. Next step is removing all this, running brake lines, all that. But man, like I said, I have been in this garage for 9 hours and it's been one of those days wrenching where, oh man, it's been frustrating. It is just, I'm sore, my neck hurts, my hands hurt, my arms hurt. Been contorted under a darn dashboard on an S-10 for all day. What a battle. Man, appreciate you guys hanging out with me during that one because that was zero fun. But what a great product. Looks awesome. I mean, that is just a bad looking unit. Obviously, imagine this ABS module not there anymore. That looks real sweet. Installation, honestly, the kit, the fitment and everything was awesome. It's just, gosh, brake boosters suck in this thing to remove, and then the brake pedal sucked to get out. That took like an hour. Oh, like I said, it's like 6 in the afternoon right now, or at night, whatever you want to say, and I started at like 9:30 a.m. So I'm done. I'm toast. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next one.